Okay, so I am back with another interview. This time I've got Jason Butler from letlive. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, brother. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. I've been a big fan of your work for the last 20 years, from Let Live to Fever and to even into Pressure Crack. So I'm really appreciative that you can take the time out and I get to chat with you for a couple of minutes. And yeah, this is really cool.
Oh, dude, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time out.
All good. So 2025 seems to be the year of bands saying goodbye. Just over across Australia, the last couple of months, we've had everyone from Cyndi Lauper, Yumi at Six, Winger, Void of Vision, our own lyrical guys, all kind of saying goodbye to something that they've created. Do you think that there's strength in letting go of something while you have the opportunity to say goodbye to it?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I do. I think that being able to have some sense of control and integrity with how you say goodbye to something, or even like putting something to bed, so to speak. I think that there's a power in that, and I think that also I don't know. I think it's also feeling like as though you are still in control of the thing that you manifested out of nothing, the magic that you created. I think that there's something really beautiful about that.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, you guys have had a pretty storied career over the last 20 years. So, kind of getting to wrap it up on your own terms is great.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, for sure. So this reunion tour is going to see you reuniting with Gene and Jeff. How
Yeah.
is it like kind of having, like getting back in the room with them and talking about this coming to fruition?
So that was actually how it came to be. It wasn't we didn't like go call each other and go, "Hey, we should play some music together or tour." We actually were like, "Yo, we should all just get together and kick it." And that's how it started. Was just us hanging out, kicking it. There's obviously the inherent and the inevitable sort of reminiscent moments and talking about what was, and but a lot of it was just sort of understanding each other, where we are, where we've been, and it was quite pretty impressive how quickly we were able to pick back up and connect on a level that felt familiar, but also again like new again because we're different people now, after 7 8 years. And it's so that's actually how it started, was just us wanting to kick it, us wanting to reconnect. And since we did that, that then led into, oh man, this would be so fun now that we're here and we know that we operate on this wavelength together, to play some music together again, and to play the songs that we crafted and loved and sort of labored over and loved and failed, and all these things, like being able to approach them with this new sense of self that we all have. It just seemed kind of like a no-brainer after we'd reconnected.
Yeah, for sure. And then I guess speaking on the other part of the tour as well, you've got Skylar Accord from Issues on bass and Sage Weber from Point North, who are also going to be joining on drums.
Yeah.
How's the process been in bringing them in and learning the songs and kind of getting together and just seeing how they gel?
So we are about to have our first rehearsals this next week or something. So this month. But getting them involved was pretty easy. Like Sky has always been the man. Like Let Live and Issues toured together in 2014, and we've been homies ever since. We respect him as a person, very very much, but also like obviously as a musician, as an artist, as a creative. So that was just like kind of a no-brainer. It was like, let's see what's up with him. And then Sage, I met Sage a while ago. I actually had Sage do some stuff for Fever that never came out, but we just did some creative stuff, some work years ago. And again, another just like such a lovely person, such a willing, such a positive, and such a talented person. And I think that those energies were just exactly what we needed to have along with us while we're on the road bringing back this let live energy. So it was all pretty easy, to be completely honest, but we feel very fortunate to have it have become so easily to us.
Yeah, I do know. Point North are actually going to be out here in June, opening for Ocean Sleeper, which is another big kind of Australian band. So I'm actually really excited to see him drum twice in a year. So that's going to be dope.
Dude, yeah, he's so talented. He's so
Yeah,
talented.
I think he was playing for Benson Boone too, right?
Yeah, yeah, he was.
Which is wild.
Yeah,
Um,
man, he's killing it.
yeah. So this final run of tour dates you guys have announced, so I worked it out. It's 32 dates, and you're hitting everywhere from the Netherlands to Germany, and then UK and Australia with the final run of shows back home. You could have guys have like stretched this out to like 18 months and literally just taken your time with it. Was there kind of like a like an intentional decision to keep it limited and to keep it intimate in that, you know, these are going to be, you know, shows we're going to do over the course of, I think it's like 5 6 months?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that was it. It was you know, I think that to capture the energy, um, you know, when you're touring, if you're lucky, you know, the tour is there's always ebb and flow and ups and downs. But if you're able to harness and concentrate the energy, I think that it will afford both you and the you know, the attendant at the show something very unique and something that, you know, it's got less of a chance of dissipating over time, right? If you concentrate it. And so we figured that. And then also you know, I've got kids and I've got fever. So it's just like trying to make sure that we can focus everything that is not only required, but that is deserved into this tour with Let Live and playing these songs again and with these people that have been waiting for so long. So we're like, all right, well, let's make it so that it's concentrated and that it's potent and that it's, you know, that it's effective in the right way.
Yeah, for sure. And then I guess like bookending both ends of the tour, you guys are going to be hitting Warped. The first date is in DC and the last date is in Orlando. How did the conversations come about to kind of start and end it with one of the most probably iconic festivals in America?
Yeah, man. I mean, I really think it all just kind of worked out. I mean, I know that we had been working on the tour for us, you know, for a while, for months, and then the Warped opportunity came in, and it actually happened. I think it just so happened to work that way. Maybe there was something that got, maybe one or two things that got moved around, but essentially, I think it just happened to be that way. So again, much like this tour in and of itself even happening because it just needs to. I think that that's how this worked with the Warped Tour. It just this is apparently how it needs to be.
Hell yeah. And then obviously, like before you kind of get to Australia, so after the first Warp show, is you guys are just doing a bunch of festivals through Europe. Australia is the only place that's kind of getting an international headline tour, like to clubs and stuff. What was the decision, I guess, in doing that in Australia versus doing the festivals through Europe?
Just because we never really did it in Australia. We never really did like a Let Live tour in Australia. Like, just I don't even know if Let Live ever headlined a tour.
I know you guys had you guys did a Soundwave or two, I think, and you had some side
Yeah,
shows from that where you had your own side shows.
yeah, we did that, but we never like committed to being like, yo, this is a Let Live tour in Australia, you know? So I
Yeah.
really was just like taking that opportunity to do that.
Yeah, hell yeah. I know the reception immediately when the tour got announced, everyone was losing their minds. Like they were super
Yeah.
pumped.
Yeah, it
So
was cool, man. It's cool.
yeah,
I'm thankful.
cool. Um, Now the final show that you guys are doing before Orlando, you're doing it at home in Los Angeles.
Mm.
Was it important to wrap up the headline component in a city that's been behind you for the last 20 years?
Yeah, so it was a must. Like it just has to happen. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, man. It's an interesting sort of tale with Let Live too, because when we started, we were supported so strongly by our local scene, like our friends. And then as soon as we like got out of that, nobody fucked with us. Like everyone was like, "What the fuck is this?" And so, um, and then as you know, we just trusted the process and trusted in the art, and then eventually it took. You know, it was accepted, and people really accepted Let Live as like a Los Angeles project, you know, like this, in a lot of ways, I think that we were able to represent Los Angeles in its diversity and its melange of cultures and musically, but, also culturally. So I think that doing this in Los Angeles as the last bit of the headline component, it was like, again, it has to be this way. And I think that people, I think there will be an unspoken and implicit energy to the experience being in Los Angeles on the last day. I really believe that.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Now, back in 2017, which was in the April of 2017, that's when you guys kind of announced that the band was not going to be doing any more work for the foreseeable future. We're
Mm.
now just shy of 8 years since that announcement. What made right now the moment to do it? Like, what was the decision in, like, obviously because you guys got back together, you hung out, but like, how did that conversation begin? Of like, what if we got back and did one more run? Like,
Mm.
how did that come about?
I think it's just like the madness and the dissonance that we're experiencing throughout the world. You know, every time you look at your computer or open your phone, you know, some sort of platform or social media, like you'll see that the the connectivity, although widespread due to the technology, on a level of collective consciousness, we're just so separated and so severed in so many ways. And I think that, you know, that was one thing that very quickly came up when we started kicking it and getting further into discussion about how we feel about the world, was the lack of connectivity, um, during an age where it's the easiest it's ever been to connect. You know, I think that there's this really tragic comedic irony to that. And that really was the catalyst, because we believe that Let Live did offer a particularly unique type um, of like arena and forum and space for people to connect, and the hope would be people from wherever, whenever, however, to come and connect on a level of whether that of feeling. And I know that's such a broad stroke word, right? But I mean like any feeling truly, because we live in a world today, I believe, where we're encouraged not to feel too much, right? Whether that be in a romantic relationship or in your career or in public, like you're not supposed to feel too much. And I think that Let Live was always encouraging people to feel as much as they need to, want to, or have to. So it's sort of our offering to whoever wants to be involved, but also hopefully that proliferates into the greater collective consciousness energy in the world and going like, we need to feel a little bit more. I think we're getting too far away from what it feels to connect with people.
For sure. And that actually kind of then bridges nicely into my next question, which is about like the emotion behind the music and emotion behind your words. And, like you said, kind of like we kind of have to close, like we feel like we have to close ourselves off a little, where the band and the music is so emotive. Something that
Mm,
was part of that original announcement back in 2017. There's two lines here that I think it's two lines. No,
mm,
one, yeah, two lines. And to me, like these two sentences summed up the entire band, which
mm,
was, we will no longer write the soundtrack, but the most important element, the idea, will continue as long as you allow it to. You are and always will be Let Live, when you were speaking to
mm,
the fans.
mm,
Because that is such an emotional, like it's a gut punch in the best way. um like, because it kind of like breathes this emotion that like the idea when the concept will continue to live no matter what.
mm.
Speaking then on that, when it comes to kind of finding those types of emotions you can just put into a Facebook post, how do you then channel that into writing music?
Yeah, I mean, that has actually been my biggest, like the most confronting thing for me returning to Let Live, is understanding who I was and sort of what Let Live asked of me emotionally for so many years, and my ability to escape through Let Live as a performer, but then really being left with the wake of all these feelings as a person in real life. You know what I mean? And so for me to come back to this and appropriately honor the performance, the music, the people that support those things, I do need to find a way that I can be involved in this again, where it is just as emotionally um, powerful, but I got to be careful. You know what I mean? I've got like I just when I had 8 years to reflect on my behavior and the things that I did because of the things that I said, right? And so it's like making sure that I'm able to do this in a way that is, I'm not going to say necessarily safe, but in a way that is healthy, healthy for me, so that if I'm healthy, then I can be healthy for the band. If we can be healthy for the band, we can be healthy for the people and the music.
Yeah, it's a flow-on effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I've never had the opportunity to see you live before, but I've seen a bunch of live footage of you performing with Let Live, with Fever, all that kind of stuff, and you are the definition of controlled chaos when you perform.
Thank you.
It's so awesome. I remember like watching Knotfest one year where you were putting like a skate ramp on stage just so you could hit a kickflip.
Yeah, yeah.
I went back last night and rewatched the Audio Tree sessions from 2013, where it looked like you wanted to run like a mic stand through a wall, and you wrapped yourself
Yeah,
up in the carpet, and like it's just cool
yeah.
shit like that. When you kind of then get to the live performance, because it is so emotional and it's so involved, do you just let whatever happens on stage happen? Or do you kind of go out there sometimes with a plan? I'm assuming the skateboard thing you would have had a plan to build some crazy shit, but when
Yeah,
you
the skateboard thing, that actually happened because I thought about it on stage, and then the next day I was like, oh, I should try that again. And I was like, and so I just tried different things. But typically, I just whatever it is just happens, because I feel like and this is just for me personally. I feel like if I were to plan things out, then it would just start to that's like the the line between like Barnum and Bailey, like Cirque du Soleil, and a punk show, right? Like, I just don't want to cross that line into this sort of too much, too heavily choreographed and sort of preemptively planned what's spontaneity, right? Like, you can't, you should, I don't know. I just believe that those things, that type of spontaneous energy needs to be authentic. So, nah, I mean, maybe like right before, like maybe right as I step on stage, I'll see something and be like, oh, I'm gonna do something with that. Or, but typically it's like I just kind of see how it happens as it's happening.
Yeah, for sure. I remember like years ago, Soundwave 2008, this is a long time ago now,
Mhm.
Howard from Killswitch
Mm.
was on stage and they were playing Holy Diver, and out of nowhere, he's just like, you know what, I'm going to climb the scaffold. So he climbed one of the stage scaffolds and was like hanging off the scaffold as the security's like, get down. And he's like, no, I want to be here. Like,
Yeah,
it's,
good for him. I
it's just
love
like
that.
that kind of chaos is something that I love as a fan, but I can only imagine
Yeah.
like how it feels to be in the moment doing crazy shit.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's complete liberation. I think that we're only afforded certain moments throughout our lives and throughout society to be truly free. And for me, those are those moments. That behavior otherwise would get me thrown into an institution for sure. You know what I mean? So it's like I gotta take what I can.
For sure. Last question, and I'm going to combine two questions into one. You've got four records and an EP's worth of material. What's the process been like in choosing a set list to say goodbye? And are there any songs in particular that you're looking forward to rediscovering again?
That's really cool. Yeah. Now, well, we just put together a set list, and we're just trying to take as much as we can from as much as we can while having a potent set. Um, and I got asked this question before, actually. I'm not really sure on like which song I'm most excited about. There's obviously the ones, like the sing along moments that have always been quite incredible, that sort of transcend area. Sometimes there's certain areas that love like certain songs. You're like, oh, that's crazy. This song does well in Japan, but doesn't do well in Wisconsin or whatever. But
Yeah.
um, the thing that I'm most excited about is stepping on stage and playing whatever the first song we choose to play in the set, the first song in the first city of whatever country, right? Like, so it's like getting to step back onto the shores of Australia, right? And our first song of the first city, whatever that song is going to be, I'm really excited to exchange that energy and receive that energy and see how that shapes that region. Like, it's like, okay, if we start in Sydney or whatever, or Brisbane or whatever, and seeing how that moves across as we go from east to west, right, and end up in Perth or whatever, and then see how that first song has evolved or changed since that first date. That's what I'm most excited about.
That's a really nuanced take. I love it.
Thanks, man.
Well, the Let Live Farewell Tour of Australia kicks off in under 6 months, starting in Brisbane on the 5th of September, hits Sydney, Melbourne, and Adelaide before wrapping in Perth, like Jason said, on the September 10th. Congratulations on all the success, not just with Let Live, but with Fever, with Pressure Cracks.
Thank you.
I'm really excited for you to be coming back out and finally getting to experience Jason in person for the first time. So the fact that it's going to be a Let Live show, something I had given away a long time ago, the fact that that is what it's going to be, I'm so fucking pumped, dude. I'm really excited.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.